I first got to North Carolina. My sergeants at the time, I was a Lance Corporal, kind of helped me grow up. Specifically Sergeant Knoll and Sergeant Byers. Sergeant Knoll actually passed away, so that's kind of why I think about that. But those two definitely raised me into a grown-up from a 17-year-old kid to a woman. Sergeant Byers he's really tough, and I guess so. The first week that I got to the fleet, they told me to go tear this engine apart, and I didn't know what to do. So I walked over to it, I had my manual out, and I started reading it and trying to figure it out, and Sergeant Byers came over and was screaming at me like, "That's not how you do it, you're reading the pub." And so it kind of opened my eyes to how I needed to learn what I was doing and be better, and he started actually helping me and teaching me how to do my job. And then he recommended that I go to Afghanistan, so that was exciting because not a lot of our people in our shops were going to Afghanistan. And then he put me on a promotion board for corporal. Going into the Marines, I didn't know what I was doing at all, just kind of on a whim. But when I actually came in, I realized that there was a purpose, that I was meant for something. When I came back from Afghanistan, I was kind of different. And I guess I was more, it's kind of weird, but I was more relaxed. I was more open to new ideas because there was a lot of improvisation in Afghanistan. Lots of things don't go the way that you want it to, so you have to change what you're doing. You guys are doing a lot for veterans. It's nice to know that there's other people that care. I'm humbled. You know, I just did what I did, so I don't feel like I'm special. I think there's a lot of veterans that have done a lot more than me, so it's pretty humbling to think that you guys picked me.
1967, I was stationed at a Placo Air Base, and I lost my friend. He was blown away. He was working in the Honoree. We were all pinned down by incoming, and the purpose of that, it was like a suppression fire to prevent these units from responding when the MPs got ambushed. The wounded were brought to our base, and they requested blood donations. I responded, I went, and on the way out, there was a wounded MP. He motioned me to come over to him doing this. So I walked over to the side of his bed, and I got his left hand on mine. And looking down on him, he was at peace. He was glad that someone was with him. And anyway, he passed away. And I never knew his name. But I never forgot him. I would say that I was honored to have served in the military. The military made me a man. They afforded me the opportunity that no other people will ever get. You see life in other countries, you see how they live, and you can see what we as Americans have. Would like to thank you guys for inviting me, and I can't express in words what this means to me, and I don't take it for granted. I really appreciate it.
Started at Fort Sill, Oklahoma in 1951. Went on to Korea, off at Busan, up through South Korea, up over the 38th parallel, into North Korea. 2 nights before Christmas of 1952, we were all together. And those men were bitten by what I called North Korea gloom. It was about the conflict, the cannon fire, the coldness, darkness, about our families, and about when we were ever going to rotate and go home, and then the possibility that some of us might never go home. Well, I didn't really know what to do, and then a thought hit me, and that was, would you guys like to have a Christmas tree? Well, it was almost like a light switch. Yeah, we want a Christmas tree. Neither the verbiage nor the music was what it should have been. But we sang a couple more songs, and one of the fellows said, you know, I'd like to tell you about Christmas in my home. Now, by that time, we knew each other. We knew about the families and so forth. And we knew that his story was not going to be about presents and glitter. I was a teenager through nearly all of it. But discipline, how to handle things when you didn't want to handle them, and handle things that had no answer, that kind of thing. And it served me very well the rest of my life. I'm very proud that I served as a sergeant in the United States Army and in the Korean conflict. I'm very proud that I'm American, and I'll tell you about it. When you have an organization like yours that can step in and help people that are really trying, that is absolutely fantastic.
I went to a 210-foot cutter, the USCGC Confidence in Port Angeles, Washington. I got there in '85, and we would go out and we'd do search and rescue. Unfortunately, I was part of a team on Air Florida Flight 90 crash in the Potomac River during the winter of 1981, where they made a movie out of it, and there was that one lady survivor that the guy jumped into the water and saved her. We were part of the recovery of the souls that were lost in the Potomac River. I have PTSD, and over the years I've been able to learn to somewhat control it, because I'll have flashbacks. I'll smell something, I'll hear something, somebody will say something, and I could see the face or the body of the people, some of the people that I had to recover. I don't feel like I deserve being honored, because there's people out there that have done a lot more. For VMLC to do what you're doing today means so much, not just to me, but especially, I know for me it does, but I'm sure it means everything in the world to these veterans that you are helping out there. Because if you're keeping their electric on and it's cold and they have a child, then that child, you're helping not just the veteran, but you're helping that family. You're putting food on their table. You're keeping that child warm. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it and talking about it. God bless you, VMLC, for doing what you do, for helping our veterans. Because even for a period of time, I was homeless. I lived underneath a railroad car. I lived in a railroad car and underneath a railroad bridge and was homeless. The love and respect that I have for VMLC for doing what they're doing is just tremendous.
Just before, December 7th was right after that. Then 1 year later is when I joined up. I had no direction at all when I got in there. And when I got out, I was floundering. I became a radio man. I could have been a gunner. I was a carrier aircraft service unit. We were replacing the personnel that were killed or maimed or hurt in the battles. When they notified me that the pilot that used to take me out on patrol every so often was finally down in one of the battles, and I missed him. It was Lieutenant Everett Horton, and that was a shock to me. They told us we were going to go and demonstrate a new type of bomb over on one of the islands. I found out later was the first napalm bomb. This particular bomb mixes with some chemical and gasoline. When it hits the ground or hits anything, it explodes, and it's like a gel. It clings to whatever it hangs on to. That was the first time they ever demonstrated it to the public, or not to the public, to the Navy. I'd like to thank them for the opportunity to express my feelings that they are doing a wonderful job. In fact, everybody that I have come in contact with that needed any help did manage to get it. I don't feel that I have any particular reason to be honored except that I was in service. I hope I didn't disappoint you.